everybody. Welcome to the Buckeye Weekly Podcast. I'm Tony Gerdeman here, as always, with Tom or Tom. How's it going?
Tony, back in the day at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center, Urban Meyer used to play It's Time for War the whole week, just on repeat one the whole week of the Michigan game. And that is a tradition that went away after Urban handed the reins over to Ryan Day. This, though, Tony, the bold prediction show for the Big Ten championship game. I don't know that we've ever done one of these before. I don't think we were doing one of these in 2020. And, Tony, we know what's on the line here. The cot of shame for the extended college football quarterfinal bowl trip, Tony. So, Tony, you'll never guess which song I've been listening to on repeat all week, knowing that this is coming.
Can I sing it the way that our buddy Steve Hellwagon sings it, which is It's Time for Or, which is a terrible rendition, both by me and by Steve and by anybody else who would choose to sing that. But yes, everybody, welcome to the Bold Prediction Show. Now, Tom, there's some controversy as to who won last week. Have you dialed up and tallied everything up?
No, the last time we had a conversation about it, I was comfortably ahead. So what kind of lies are you or our listeners spinning that would make that not the case?
Well, you say comfortably ahead. I think you only got two of yours correct, or only one of them correct, right? Like,
I had a Brandon Innes touchdown,
yeah, so
and
two.
I had Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith combining for at least 2 touchdowns. So
you got two correct.
For 2.5 points. Yes, go on.
2 correct. Because I also got at least 2 correct here. Mm-hmm. So Carnell Tate scores a touchdown outside of the 11 to 8 minute mark of the second quarter. I had Julian Sand with 2 touchdowns outside of the red zone. It could not be 34 yards. They were not. One was 35. And then also I had a 2-pointer. Michigan is held to 108 yards rushing or fewer, which would have been their lowest total of the year. I think you threw on there like a must be below 3.51 yards per carry. So I'm going to give myself a half point for that, which puts me at 3 points, you at 2.5. And here we are.
Michigan ran for 4.2 yards per carry. So it sounds, Tony, like, while it was quite an effort, it was not enough to win. So congratulations to you for almost beating me and almost getting to sleep on an actual grown-up bed this weekend in Indianapolis.
I'm still confused as to how I allowed the 0.5, the half point for that. And I know I think I'm the one that mentioned a half point or something, and then you latched onto it like
I would never like be so presumptuous. I'm
vulture.
just happy to play by the rules that you would like to throw out there. So that's fine. That's
I'm driving in my car and I run over a half point, and you, like a vulture seeing carry and dead carcass on the road, you're like, I want that. I will take a half point. And
Tony, as we all know, you don't hit half points. Only I do that. So
would you like to begin?
Oh, more than anything in the world, Tony. All right. So as your defending champion, and please call me the champ, I'm going to tell you that Fernando Mendoza, not once this year, and only once in the last 2 seasons, has thrown multiple interceptions in a game, Tony. That is what makes it so shocking that I'm going to correctly predict that it will happen this week in Indianapolis.
How many times will he throw 2 interceptions?
This feels like a question that's being set up for you to pretend later that you're confused. So I'm going to say he's going to throw 2 interceptions this weekend.
Just once, though?
Yes, but over the span of the whole weekend. So if he throws some interceptions on the bus on the way up from Bloomington, that counts.
Do you know what he normally does in Decembers as a starting quarterback? Because I'll tell you.
In Decembers, what a meaningful sample size I'm sure we're dealing with here. Yes, go on.
2023 against Texas Tech in some sort of a bowl game. 3 interceptions. And you're telling me that 2 is bold?
Wow. I take it all back. Fernando Mendoza, literally 2 years ago in a meaningless bowl game for Cal against Texas Tech, a thing that is going to have so much to do with what happens this weekend. Yes.
All right. We will accept this with one caveat. It cannot be Taiwan Malone.
That's fair. That's fair. I was actually going to throw out the same thing.
I'm only throwing that one out there.
If it's Edric Houston, I get 1.5 points. You have to say yes, because it's really stupid.
I know, and that's the unfortunate part, that I have to say yes. Yeah, okay. I don't like that this is now part of the rules of the game. And especially if he gets both of these, that's 3 points.
Well, I wasn't going to say that, but if you say that, then all right, that's fine. I would never be so presumptuous, but if you choose to offer,
yeah.
These shows are going to start getting a lot shorter, friends, because Tony's going to recognize that the more he talks, the worse off he is. So he's just going to be like, yes, no, next. That's going to be it. That's going to be the end of his contribution. So, Tony, do you have another one for us? Would you like to share your first one?
Edric Houston has 2 interceptions.
A tremendous hedge, yes. Gerdeman and Associates hedge fund. That's smart. I like it. I'll tell you what. If you'd like that to be your 3-pointer, I will let you have that be as your 3-pointer.
I was just going to ask for 1.5. No, my first 1-pointer, and to be honest, I've only got 4 right now, so I'm going to have to work out a 5th one at some point, perhaps.
I have a bunch of extras, so I'm happy to share.
Here you go. This is one that you probably also have. Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate do something that they've done twice this year. They will both go over 100 yards receiving. They did it against Ohio. They did it against Penn State. Have not done it since. This is an Indiana defense, one of the best in the nation. I'm going to assume, and don't quote me on this, but feel free to believe me, that Indiana has not allowed 2 receivers to go over 100 yards each this season.
Well, I'm glad that you have established that if something has only happened against Ohio and Penn State in particular this season, that would be a bold thing to predict to happen this weekend. Because Tony, you'll never guess. I have one that is that exact set of parameters. So I'm going to allow this one, even though it feels like this is one that's fairly likely to happen. I'm going to allow it because then it leaves you absolutely powerless when I tell you, Tony, that there are going to be 3 scores between the 2 teams in the middle 8. So 3 scores between the 2 teams in the final 4 minutes of the first half, the first 4 minutes of the second half. And Tony, it's only happened twice all season in Ohio State games. Would you like to guess which 2 games it happened in?
No, would not care to. How many times has Indiana done it?
I don't know, Tony. I was not going to go through 24 individual box scores. I felt like I had proved my point with the Ohio State side of things.
As long as we've established we don't have to go and look at the other team's box scores for any reason because blah, blah, blah. So I like this 3 scores between the middle 8, Tom, except there cannot be a 34-yard field goal. At least if there's 2, you can have 1.
Boy, that would then be 4 scores in the middle 8, which feels somewhat unlikely. Cannot be a 34-yard field goal. Can I retroactively go back and take away one 34-yard reception from one of the 2 receivers if I name the receiver?
Pretty sure you take your finger off the checker. Now,
if you want that.
We can go back, but then it becomes a 1.5 point bold prediction.
No, well then we'll leave it as is. That's fine.
That's the cost of doing business.
Talking to you certainly is. Yes. All right. Go on with your second one.
Here's one. Stephen Daly, Indiana defensive end, has 10 tackles for loss over his last 3 games, I believe. I'm saying no more than a half a tackle for loss for Daly in this game, Tom.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just doing this off the top of my head, but I feel like it's been like twice all year that he's had 2 or 3 times this year that he's only had half a tackle or 0 tackles for loss. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. That is correct.
Yeah.
And I will remind you, Ohio State has allowed at least 1 tackle for loss in like every game this year.
Yeah. this is not the most. This is not the most bold prediction I've ever heard on this show. This is not the most bold prediction I've heard on this show today.
1
This might be
point.
the least bold prediction I've heard.
Can't be a 17-yard loss.
What can I put on this? Cannot happen. Anything from any tackle for no gain from the 17 or 34-yard line counts as a tackle for loss.
Well, I don't care for that.
I'm sure you don't. That means that means I have struck the ball well and down the center of the fairway. Which, Tony, I don't know how much you golf, but that's where you want to be. It's not where I am a lot, but that's where you want to be.
How about this? I'll change my number. No more than 1 tackle for loss for Stephen Daly.
Wait. No, that's not. No, that's not the right direction.
I like that you started to consider it for just a split second. All right. Tackles for loss between
This is my perpetual dilemma. Is he this dumb or is he just pretending to be this dumb? And sometimes these shows stretch out because I really have to think for a while.
I'm going to say I'm not going to allow 17 to 34. I will say between the 20-yard line and 30-yard line.
Oh, sorry. I'm not saying between. I'm saying tackles for no gain on the 17 or the 34 yards.
That's fine.
I wasn't trying to get a spin. Okay. I'm looking for just those particular yard lines.
Okay. All right. We will allow that. Tackles for no gain on 17-34 count as TFLs. And that's all right. Okay, go ahead.
Tony, do you know what has not happened? Indiana and Ohio State have been playing football all season long, all the way back to August. Do you know what neither team has done once this season? And which their opponents have only done once all season?
Return the opening kickoff for a touchdown?
No. Attempted an onside kick. Not once for either team and only once for for an opponent, and that was against Ohio State, and I literally cannot remember when that happened in an Ohio State game. However, Tony, it is going to happen. One of these teams is going to attempt an onside kick in a way that shows up in the box score as an onside kick, because that is a stat that they track in this game.
I don't like this one because one of the reasons there hasn't necessarily been an onside kick against Ohio State is there really hasn't been a reason. I assume maybe Texas did it because they needed to get the ball back in the final minute. There's like 2 minutes, so maybe they didn't. Yeah. But
I was trying to think if it was maybe Illinois maybe did that.
Because I can definitely see this because you do expect it to be a situation where the game is close enough. If you're scoring late, you're gonna kick an onside kick one way or the other. But if there's only been one over
for any team involved in either team's games all season, I will also give you, Tony, the kickoff cannot come from the 17 or 34 yard line. If that helps you in any way.
What stat shows you onside kicks? Just curious.
If you search, if you go to Indiana's official website or Ohio State's official website and you click on team stats, it's somewhere down near the bottom.
Okay. All right. It feels like Oregon would have, right? But, I mean, they could have done it in the second quarter with Dan Lanning.
Could have, yes. One thing that helps this year for Ohio State is Maryland wasn't on the schedule. So that's one thing that sort of helps Ohio State not have one.
Can I say, but it can't be in the fourth quarter.
No, you sure can't, but thank you. Oh, unless you want to make this a bonus 2.5 pointer.
No, I don't want to make any more things ever again. All right. I don't like this one because, again, it should just lead. This should happen late in the game, but we'll see if it's that close. And frankly, I don't think it will be. But even then, if Indiana is down 17 points and they score, or if they're down 24 points and they score with 30 seconds to go against the second teamers, they're kicking an onside kick. So there's almost no way this doesn't happen, which is, I really hate to do this to the show and to the history of the show, to the people that listen and watch it, when it's like inevitability isn't boldness. That's just this is just me giving up and wanting to go to the next one. So we'll go ahead and allow it. The people will forgive me, Tom. They won't forgive you. All right, so let's go back to being bold. Ohio State will have a touchdown run of at least 34 yards in this game. As you know, when they do have some long-ish runs, they basically get tackled before the end zone. I don't even know the last time. It would have been James Peoples from, was that 30 or so, a couple of weeks ago. I know it was maybe 50. But I'm going to say Ohio State has a touchdown run of at least 34 yards, of which maybe, do they have more than one this year?
They have 8 rushes of 30 yards or more. I don't know how many of them went for touchdowns. I'm just looking to see how many Indiana has given up this year.
Like 4.
Indiana has given up 4. The fact that you're mentioning this as a touchdown, I think,
yes,
probably, if this was just a run of 34, I don't think I view it as bold. The fact that it's a touchdown. I mean, Bo Jackson has had, it feels like most of his long ones, he's ended up getting brought down inside the 5 for some reason, and they've scored a lot on runs from inside the 5. So I am actually going to allow this. I think this is a good one, and it's certainly one you could absolutely see happen, but is, it's something also that just hasn't happened a lot this season. So I think it does feel, sufficiently bold, at least, by your standards. All right, Tony, how about this one? And boy, I think this is one you may end up deciding later. Yeah, I want this to be your 2-pointer. But here's one. This season, Julian Sayin, 30 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Fernando Mendoza, 32 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Virtually identical stats. Julian Sayin is going to be +2 in touchdowns and throw fewer interceptions than Fernando Mendoza on Saturday.
Tell me which you think is bolder, because I also have a Julian Sayin versus Mendoza one. So you're saying Sayin has 2+ touchdowns and has to have fewer interceptions, right?
Yes. So if Mendoza throws 1 touchdown, Sayin has to throw at least 3, and then Mendoza has to throw at least 1 interception and Sayin has none, or Mendoza throws 2 and Sayin has 1 or none. Yeah.
Yes. I think this is okay based on the fact that 2 very good offenses, 2 very good defenses. Tom, would this win the Heisman then for Julian Sayin, do you think? Is this why you're not allowing me to say I don't think it's bold enough, because this is something for the people? This is a fan service that you're throwing out there, which is just tasteless and tacky. But I think this would win the Heisman then, provided it's not 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions for Julian Sayin versus the 4 interceptions of Fernando Mendoza with no touchdowns. But I will allow this, but can I throw a but in there? Fernando Mendoza
you seem like you were sort of teeing up the fact that you had something similar. So I kind of would like to hear your similar one.
And I am also thinking, and then I might draw it back. I think Mendoza should have to have a touchdown pass, but then having Sayin throw 3 that's also kind of a tall order. So I'm just going to let you have this one. And then I will say my one, now that we're being all friendly, I have Julian Sayin outpasses Mendoza by 75 yards.
75 yards. See, this is one where, depending on the game, like mine feels like you're predicting a very specific game state if that happens. Yours is...
Does this have to be done within the first 3 quarters? Probably.
Yeah, maybe.
Or in the 4th quarter?
Yeah. No, well, now I'm trying to decide if the first 3 quarters would make it more likely or less likely to happen, because it's, in the scenario where Yeah, in the scenario where this has happened through 3 quarters, Ohio State is shutting it down, and Mendoza is presumably still throwing in the fourth quarter, unless they pull him. But if they pull him, then they would pull Sayin. So I would love to put some kind of a caveat on this in some form.
If you confine it to the 3 quarters, I'm going to have to ask for 1.5 points.
No, I'm not going to do that. I'm trying to decide if there's a.
I don't think there is.
Double. Okay, so 34 plus 17 we've established on this show, long established in the lore of this show, that 34 plus 17 is 51. So a 51-yard pass for Julian Sayin does not count. Other than that, totally fine. Exactly 51 yards. If it's 52, that's fine. If it's 50, that's fine. But exactly 51 yards does not count.
I don't care for that one. Boy, okay.
Why don't you boldly predict Julian Sayin to have a pass of exactly 51 yards, and I'll give you that one.
That's at least 3 points, frankly. Okay, a pass of, I'll even throw this, a pass or run of 51 yards does not count.
Well, considering this is just a passing one, it's very generous of you.
But a run of 51 yards does count then, Tom, if you want to be so dismissive and cocky about it. If he throws for a 51-yarder and then also runs for a 51-yarder, then that 51-yarder counts.
Okay, that's fine. But if Mendoza runs for 51 yards, that counts for him.
No, I can't do that. As Hall notes say,
if Julian Sayin has a 51-yard run in this game, I will give you 3 points just for that. A special bonus 3 points from me to you. Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so I have 4 now. You also said you have 4, so I'm going to give you.
Oh, I've got mine now. I'm good.
You've got your 5th one. Okay.
Yep.
Well, in that case, I'm going to say that Indiana 7 for 15 on 4th down attempts this season. So basically 1 attempt per game. I'm going to say they have at least 3 attempts on 4th down in this game. Curt Cignetti not particularly likely to go for on 4th down, as far as as coaches go.
So you're going to say at least 3 times. They've done that once. It was against Iowa. They were 0 for 3. They've not done it in multiple games since the UCLA, or multiple times in a game since UCLA. So, all right, 3 times going forward on 4th down. Okay. Again, this is all, if Ohio State is winning comfortably, I think you're going to score well in this one. Just so you know, with the onside kick and the Sayin 2 touchdowns and
Tony, sounds like then the viewers would have 2 reasons to be happy. So there you go. Again, audience service. We're here to make people happy, and we know who everyone's rooting for. And I don't just mean Ohio State.
At least I've got the Tywone Malone interception in my back pocket. Okay. My 5th one is something that has happened twice this year, sort of. And we've established that something that has only happened twice is bold enough for 1 point.
As long as it only happened against Ohio and Penn State. Yes, go on.
Kenyatta Jackson and Caden Curry will combine for 3 impact plays. Now, Tom, you're going to say, that doesn't seem like a lot. And one of the times it happened, it was because Caden Curry had 5 tackles for loss.
That was at Washington, yes. Kenyatta, did it happen against Michigan? Because it felt like Kenyatta Jackson maybe basically did that last week.
Kenyatta had 2 tackles for loss last week, and Caden Curry did not, I believe, do anything of note other than his tackles. And I can look that up real quickly just to confirm. But
you might. You're probably right. I probably have the Michigan box score here somewhere.
Yeah, no tackles for loss for Caden Curry, no pass blocks, no forced fumbles. So yeah. It sounds like a low number, Tom, maybe to some, but the fact that
what was the other game it happened in other than Washington? Because Washington was like the free space in the bingo card, because that was the Caden Curry game.
Penn State check Rutgers or Penn State. Let me check here real quick. Penn State, Kenyatta Jackson had 2.5 tackles for loss.
Okay.
And I believe there was and he also had a pass block. So both times it's been done, it's the one guy doing it.
One guy. Yeah.
So this is something that is never.
Well, yeah. And if you had picked one of these guys to have 2.5 impact plays, that might have been, I would have at least sort of maybe entertained that as a 2-pointer if you picked one specific guy to do it. So therefore, if you're splitting it between two guys and it really only has happened twice, then I'm probably stuck saying yes. So, all right, we'll say yes and we'll move on with life. Tony, we have established, I went back and looked, we established just a few weeks ago, I believe it was the UCLA game, that this exact bold prediction is worth 2 points. So, Tony, when I tell you that for the first time since the year of our Lord, 2019, Ohio State kicks a field goal of 50-plus yards, you are obligated to say yes. So go ahead, say yes, and we'll move on with the show.
That was actually Rutgers, which has no bearing. You say UCLA, you're lying to the people. You're already misleading, and you're throwing half-truths out there, trying to pull a fast one on everybody. But
sorry, during one of the games during the 3-week series of interchangeable slop between Penn State and Michigan, I did make that prediction for 2 points, and you accepted it. So, moving on. I was also thinking about that one. I was like, no, that's Tom's baby. We'll let him keep trying that one. But just so you know, the time I do pick it, it's going to hit. Oh, 100%. Yes. That is absolutely the new 220. 100%. Like I am already pre-annoyed at the fact that you're going to pick that in, the Peach Bowl or something, and it's going to happen. And I'm going to be deeply annoyed.
Here's my 2-pointer. Caleb Downs has a second half interception. We know 1 point is you calling for an interception for a player is always good for 1 point. I'm taking half the game away from him, adding another point in there. So second half interception for Caleb Downs in this game. I don't think we've ever done this one before.
Yeah, no, that's a new one. In honor of his jersey number 2, may I remove a 2-minute span from the second half, or may I remove 2 separate yard lines from which that play cannot happen? Your choice.
Tell me the 2-minute span first.
Well, no. Gonna need a decision from you, and then I'm happy to honor your wishes, Tony. It's all about you.
All right. Then I'll say no.
No is not an option. No. Which
you said you would honor my wishes.
Yes, Tony, it is time to say yes to the dress. Let's go. Which one is it?
Why do I need to have a caveat for this one? Just tell me that.
Because
tell the people.
So.
Gee whiz.
Tony, the people want you to do something bold, and I'm trying to make that happen for you.
All right. So what was your yardage line? What are you saying? What was
I will either the yardage, the yard line on the stat sheet from which the ball is snapped. You can pick 2 numbers, which I will pick 2 numbers from which it does not count. I bet you can guess what the numbers are, or a 2-minute span of the second.
No, you can pick 2 yardage lines that this can't happen from.
Tony, you're not going to believe it. 17 and 34.
Now, is this where the ball is snapped or where the ball is caught?
Where the ball is snapped, because that's going to be very clear and easy on the stat sheet.
Okay. Now, technically, Tom, that is 4 yardage markers.
Well, Tony, I got to tell you, to be real honest, I was hoping you wouldn't notice, but it sure is. Thank you for mentioning that.
And because of your condescension throughout this entire show, if you do want just 2 yardage markers, you can have the 17 or the 34.
I think I'm going to take the Indiana 34 on the Indiana side of the field and the Ohio State 17.
Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting. You're covering as wide a path as you can, essentially. Almost. So, okay, we will. Boy, this would be devastating. Absolutely devastating.
Good. Now you see what I'm going for. Perfect. Glad we're on the same page.
All right. What's yours?
My 3-pointer, Tony.
Yes.
Indiana has not allowed a pass play of 60-plus yards all season long. Ohio State has only one pass play of 60 yards or more, and that came against Grambling. That was a long touchdown for Jeremiah Smith against Grambling. So Ohio State has not had a pass of 60 yards or more against FBS competition all season long. Indiana has not allowed one. That is why, Tony, for 3 points, I'm going to correctly predict that Ohio State has not one but two pass plays of 60-plus yards on Saturday.
That's Tom. That may be
the boldest.
One of your bolder picks. 2 60-yard receptions exactly for Ohio State. Yeah, I mean, I can't say no to that one. You say it's happened once for Ohio State. It has not happened at all for Indiana, so we will allow that. That's a pretty good one, Tom. Who? Just take a couple of random guesses. Like, who would you think would be the most likely players to do that?
Well, Tony, I certainly won't be putting any parameters on this other than, beyond what I've already said. But, I think I can think of 2 Ohio State wide receivers where if I named 2 names, I would say if it's going to happen, it's probably going to be one of those 2 guys or perhaps one from each of those guys.
I would like to throw like something on there, like it can't be from behind the line of scrimmage, but it's like, okay.
Can't be David Adolph. That's fine. I'll give you that one.
All right, I'll do that one. Now, we've established
which will be more devastating, the 75-yard David Adolph touchdown or the Caleb Downs interception on a play from the Ohio State 17? Which one will have Ohio State fans going crazy and you or I just screaming in anger at the same time?
I think, the 3-pointer clearly would be just amazing. Now, you've chosen something that has happened. I'm going to choose something that has never happened, and that is Julian Sand scores a touchdown. This could be a rush. It could be a catch.
Okay. So I had my other 3-pointer that I have here is Julian Sand has a receiving touchdown. That would be a legitimate 3-pointer. And I do think that's a real possibility that they're running some Philly special, get him one in the fourth quarter. I would view that one as 100%. Julian Sand has a rushing touchdown that's not a 3-pointer. That's like a point and a half.
Well, I think have you seen him sneak the ball, Tom? Have you seen him?
I sure have. Yeah. He came about that far away from that happening last Saturday. That is absolutely not a 3-pointer. If you want to do a receiving touchdown, I would be 100% fine with that. And I would even, if you feel that's super unlikely to happen, I would be perfectly happy to give you my 3-pointer and take that one because I feel like that's less bold than mine.
I will say a touchdown of at least 7 yards.
Receiving? Wow. All right. I wasn't going to put that.
He's never done rushing or receiving. You're throwing something out there that we've seen happen. I'm throwing something out there that we've never, Tom, not since the poor boy was in high school. So,
so
you're just,
I'm going to do the Jim Harbaugh. He was that far away from doing it last week. Absolutely not on the rush.
So,
receiving, absolutely. If you'd like 1.5 points for that, I will give you 1.5 points for that, and you won't have a 3-pointer. But
what I'll do instead is I will let's say this: he accounts for 5 touchdowns. You don't even have him scoring 5 touchdowns.
No, I don't have him scoring 5 touchdowns, and I'm going to I put both of our score predictions in on the doc already, and I don't believe either of us actually have Ohio State scoring 5 touchdowns. So is that worth 3 points?
Because he's thrown for 4 touchdowns in one game this year, as I look quickly.
I think
yes,
2?
Not 2, and one was against Grambling State. So
okay.
And the other was Penn State. So
5.
He's never done it. We know that.
How about he throws for 5 touchdowns? So that we're
now you're an anti-rush. You're against the rush now. When before you're saying
I'm trying to make sure it's really worth 3 points, Tony. That's all. I have had multiple accounts for 5 touchdowns games where I think that was my 2-pointer, which is fine. I'm perfectly and I'm, I get it. I absolutely feel this is bold. 3 points has a standard, Tony, and we have to uphold the standard.
Do we? I'm just frantically scrolling down.
We do Penn State bold prediction show, and you don't want that.
Throws for 5 touchdowns. You know what? I'll go ahead and take that. And
you know what? Again, in spirit of the holidays, throws or catches, a total of 5. I will give you. I will even give you
3.5 if he catches.
He gets a. Oh, so you'd like me to give you more and also give you more points? No. All
right.
Thank you.
Throws or receives, catches 5 touchdowns. So if he catches 5, I don't want credit for just one. I get credit for all of those.
Throws or catches, but no more than 2 receptions. Okay, that's it. You only get credit for the first 2 touchdowns receiving.
Okay, all right. Only credit for the first 2 touchdown receptions, because this is also an opportunity for Ryan Day and Brian Hartline to, maybe go win a Heisman for your university. So only credit for for 2 touchdown receptions. Boy, that 3rd touchdown reception is going to sting for sure. All right, Tom, what's your bonus?
Golly. Feels like I should have planned this out a little bit. Let's see. How about Ohio State has at least 2 players with a reception of 6 yards or longer.
2 players. Okay, with the reception. All right, I will accept that. Mine is similar. My bonus for you, Bo Jackson, or his approximation in the depth chart, has a rush of at least 5 yards. So it doesn't necessarily have to be Bo Jackson. Could be any type of running back, or perhaps even a receiver. A rush of 5 yards to you, good sir.
I graciously accept, as always. As with everything on the show, I do it graciously.
I'm going to cut that out of the show entirely. So, boy, there we are. Your bold predictions for the Big Ten championship game, Ohio State, Indiana, 1 versus 2. Heisman on the line, number 1 seed on the line, Rose Bowl on the line. Kind of shame at the Rose Bowl on the line. It is time for war, and we have just both been done battle. I think we all know who we all want to see win. But that's, we're going to leave in the comments. No, don't. Tom hates the comments when he sees it. But that will do it from here. If you want to throw the thumbs up, we would appreciate that. Hit the bell to be notified. Subscribe to the channel if you've not yet done so. And continue to find us at BuckeyeHuddle.com. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the support. And thank you for cheering on your true champion. And we will talk to you later.